everybody, I'm in my room, which can only mean that it's story time. Okay, this video I actually wanted to tell a little bit more of a happy story, particularly after my last video, but this is a story I've wanted to tell for such a long time, and I didn't tell it for a few reasons. Mostly because Japan's a little bit behind with gay rights and people don't usually outright come out as such. And also, like, the person I was dating before didn't actually know this story, and it's just kind of a little bit embarrassing. I'm in no way ashamed of this, and a lot of people in my life already know this story, but it's just kind of like something a little bit awkward to talk about. Before I get into this story, I'm not quite sure what my sexuality is, which is another reason that it's kind of awkward to talk about. But basically, I don't really think about gender that much when I like someone, and I've been attracted to women in the past. Obviously, I've been attracted to men and like everything in between. And for me, gender just isn't really a big deal. I haven't really put a label on it, mostly because I feel like my sexuality sometimes changes. Like, sometimes I'm more attracted to men than I am women, and like that. So I haven't really talked about it that much, and up until now, I've only been in straight relationships, so I didn't really feel a need to. Oh, and one other thing is that I had my booster a few hours ago, and I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm really gonna try my best. Okay, so this happened years and years and years ago. So I started working at a new school, and that school actually had quite a lot of new hires. So everyone was about the same age as me, and they were also new to the school. So we had to do a lot of introducing ourselves to the other staff, and I noticed that there was like a really attractive guy. He was quite short and had short hair and just had like the most incredible smile I had ever seen. And because I should wear glasses, but I don't, and I didn't have my glasses on that day, I thought that they were a guy because they were on the other side of the room. But when I went to go introduce myself to them, I found out that they were actually a woman, and they were the new PE teacher. They were really, really warm and funny and just like really, really easy to get along with. They're actually from northern Japan, so they also spoke Japanese in a little bit of a different dialect. So we kind of bonded with that because a lot of the children said that their accent was kind of weird, the same way I guess that people would think my accent is weird when I spoke Japanese. So we kind of bonded around that at first. The school that I was working at, the staff were all pretty good friends, and I made friends with everyone really quickly, and this is one of the few schools I worked at where everyone was pretty young, so we used to go out quite a lot. And I'm not sure why, but this particular school had a lot of like forced drinking parties, so we had to go out drinking quite a lot with our co-workers. As usual, like, I'm pretty shy, so it's very hard for me to initiate speaking with someone, but this person always sought me out, and I found that they would always kind of like flirt with me, and they would always say like that they wanted to marry me or that I was really cute and stuff like that. But from a woman to a woman, this is just kind of like a normal thing. And particularly in Japan, I noticed that like a lot of Japanese women will say things that sound flirty, and like they'll ask to kiss you or touch your boobs, and this is just kind of like a normal thing, more that they're interested in you rather than that they're attracted to you. She was so cute. She was a little bit shorter than me, she had like quite short hair, she was just really, really funny, and we used to talk for hours and hours, and we ended up swapping lines. And so the first few months of working at this school, we just got along well as friends. We went out a few times just as like a girls group as well, and she always said that she wanted to pair up with me, and we used to do things together. And honestly, I was just happy to have like a Japanese friend that was my age at work, and I definitely knew that I was attracted to them because like I'm pretty much aware that I find women attractive, so I knew that I was attracted to them. But particularly in Japan, like I feel like these kind of things just don't really happen. Like, you don't normally just like LGBT relationships are really hard to start unless you go to like a space for that. So I didn't think that they were lesbian or anything like that, even though they seemed quite like masculine, and I noticed that she would put on a deeper voice, and the way she dressed was quite masculine. But there's a lot of women like that in Japan, and like in the West I feel like it's easier to pick out who are part of the LGBT community. In Japan it's much harder, and of course as a foreigner it's gonna be harder for me to tell like who's gay or who's lesbian. So then one night we had another forced party. It was like a nabe party, and so we went out and we walked from the school to the nabe place. It wasn't that far, and as we were walking she came up next to me and she asked me directly, "Oh, by the way, do you like women?" And I was really taken aback. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean I like women? Like, do I like them as friends? And she was like, no, like, are you attracted to women? And I said, oh yeah, actually I guess I would consider myself as bisexual. I also like women. And I was so nervous because this is still something that's very kind of taboo in Japan, and like you can get fired, particularly if you work in a school. Like, I've known people who worked in schools that did get fired because they came out as being gay. I'm not saying it happens everywhere, and it's getting a lot more accepted now, but I was just very nervous to even admit this piece of information about myself. And then she said, oh yeah, me too. And then we were showing pictures of celebrities that we found attractive. And I noticed that a lot of the celebrities she picked were actually foreigners. And I was like, wait, does that mean that she could be interested in me? And yeah, it made me like for the first time think, oh, like, could I possibly date this person? Could I have a relationship with this person? And so yeah, a lot of things were going through my mind. And yeah, we went out, we had another, and then we went home. But then we had another drinking party very close to that. I think it was because it was in winter, and usually you have like Bonnenkai, Shinenkai, you have a lot of parties that you usually have to attend in winter. So it wasn't too long after that we went out drinking. And we went to like an izakaya and everyone ate food, and after that she came up to me and she held my hand and she asked if I wanted to go drinking. And we asked everyone else if anyone wanted to go to like a nijikai, and no one else wanted to come, and so it was just me and her. And I was really nervous because it felt kind of like she set this up. So she asked me if I knew any good bars, and I didn't really know any, but I knew of one that we could possibly go to. And I picked it because I knew that there would be a lot of people there that I possibly would know, and I knew that it would stop me from doing something embarrassing when I'd been drinking. And we went there, and as soon as we arrived, I realized it was like a Thursday or something, and there was no one. It was just us. So anyways, we were already pretty drunk when we got there, and so we started drinking more. And I remember I had a drink with like gummy bears in it. I still can't remember, but it tasted amazing, and I've never been able to find this drink anywhere else again. It was honestly delicious, so that was one good thing about that night. But of course I was really nervous. She only speaks Japanese, which is fine for me. My conversational Japanese is pretty good. So we were having this long conversation about gender that she started, and about like she's really interested in the concept of genderless, which I guess I thought that maybe she felt that she was non-binary, and I was explaining these different concepts to her, and she was really interested in like the West and how they view like the different kinds of labels we have, like obviously like trans, non-binary and stuff like that, and how we kind of have more labels for those things. And I was explaining them to her. It was a very good conversation, and then as we were talking, suddenly she just kissed me out of nowhere, and I was really shocked because it was honestly out of nowhere, and I didn't think I gave off any kind of energy to allow her to do that. But anyways, she kissed me and I kissed her back, and we were kissing for like a long time. I forget, because when you're drunk, like time just doesn't even feel real. And like I knew the bartender, and who is also a woman, and that was awkward because I'm like, oh my god, they don't know that like I'm also kind of into women. So yeah, that happened. And then yeah, after a while it was, you know, pretty late, and we're like, we're gonna miss the last train, so we should go home. And then I walked her to the station, and then she kissed me one more time, and then she left. And like, I'm ridiculously positive, so I guess I got really excited, and I thought that like maybe I could have a relationship with this person. So we talked a lot online, you know, just like bants, having fun, sending each other memes and stuff like that. and then I asked her if she wanted to go out for coffee, and we went on like a cute little coffee day and we hung out, but I didn't really get any more like romantic vibes from her. And anyways, we were talking for a while, and then I thought I would just ask her directly, and I kind of like confessed to her and I said that I really really like you and I have feelings for you, and I'm just wondering like if you would like to have a relationship. And she was so shocked. She said, oh, like I'm really sorry I gave you the wrong impression. I like girls, but I couldn't love a girl. And that like really surprised me, honestly. It really hurt. And it was mostly just embarrassing, because I've never really put myself out there to another woman. So yeah, I was just really really shocked more than anything, and a little bit embarrassed. And yeah, I kind of recovered and I was like, oh, that's okay, like I'm sorry, maybe I read too much into this, and I would like to still be your friend. Which is true, because she's really really funny and like an amazing person, so I still wanted to be her friend. So we agreed to just be friends. But then over the course of the weekend, she wasn't really meeting me that much, and I kind of got like a very awkward vibe, so we kind of just stopped meeting each other. I went back into work the next week, and I noticed the other women that we were friends with were also being a little bit cold to me. You know when you can just sense that like the vibes are just a little bit off? I definitely sensed that she told them, that the vibe I got was that she told them that I kind of like come onto her. I'm not sure if this is what happened, but this is just how I felt. Like they were acting a little bit weird with me. And I know this woman, and she can't stop talking, so she definitely told them what happened. And I was worried that they were scared that I would come onto them or something like that, and it was just really really awkward. The only good thing was I only had a couple more weeks left at that school before my company needed me in a different school, so I was gonna switch. And yeah, so like the last few weeks I was at that school, it was just really really awkward, and me and the women were still like friends, but I feel like with the other women our relationship was a little bit strained, and after that we never hung out anymore, which was honestly the worst part, because we had such a nice cute little friend group and I really enjoyed hanging out with them, and we used to go to like animal cafes and stuff. And then after that happened, they didn't really want to hang out with me anymore. It was wild for me, because honestly I didn't pursue this person at all, and I feel like they really pursued me, and they would always compliment me and kind of say like really really flirty stuff, or like tickle me and stuff like that. And then like they were the one that ultimately asked me if I like women, and they were the one that also kissed me. So I felt a little bit cheated, like they were kind of bragging in a way that I kissed them, and I feel like the way they told the story to our friends is probably a little bit different. So yeah, that made me never want to confess my feelings to another woman ever again. And after that I just stopped thinking about dating other women, because honestly confessing your feelings to someone is so embarrassing. Like just having feelings for someone is embarrassing, but when that person is the same sex, there's just so much that could go wrong. Like they could get angry at you, they could tell people, you could get shunned, particularly in a country like Japan. And I'm proud of myself that I was so brave as to confess my feelings, even if it didn't ultimately work out the way I wanted it to. So for that I'm really really proud of myself, but I honestly probably wouldn't do it again. And that's something I'm not proud of myself, is that I'm not really that brave. Okay, so the moral of this story is that dating in general is very very hard. Dating in a foreign country in another language is much harder, and particularly if you're part of the LGBTQ community, dating is just incredibly hard. A lot of my friends are gay in Japan, and honestly, like even if you're dating in Japanese, there's a lot of LGBTQ specific language when dating or that they use on apps. So you've got to learn a whole new language, the social cues are different. It's just like a whole minefield, honestly. It's very hard. But I still think that you should, if you like someone, you should convey your feelings to them earnestly. However, also be careful. As a general rule, I would never ever date anyone at work. This was a momentary lapse of judgment, and I would never ever do it again. I would never ever start to like someone at work, and I would never convey my feelings to someone at work, because you could honestly lose your job, and that was very stupid of me. So literally just don't do what I did. Just like watch what I do and just don't do that. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. And my next story time will be a lot more happier and a lot more fun. But I think this is quite an educational story and in some ways a fun story. I don't know, I had that cool gummy bear drink, that was fun. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching and please subscribe.